Welcome in mobilers to another episode of Meet the Mobilers, a series here introduced by the World Mobile Alliance, introducing you to all the contributors who make up the World Mobile ecosystem. As always, I'm your host, Fareed. I'm also joined by other fellow World Mobile Alliance members, Rob, as well as Cal.
Episode 3 is upon us, and today we're going to be talking about a epic person who's been in the community for quite some time. So I'm excited to get this going.
Likewise. And Rob, over to you. I'm digging that background over there, man. What's going on with that?
This background, if I can get out of the way, this was a combination of something made by Joshua from Stoic Nodes for our branding contest. And then Clover, Cal here, took and finished it off. And so it's kind of a neat combination. I really, really liked it. Yeah, things are going well. It's so much is happening with World Mobile right now. And we are just right on the precipice of watching so many things happen. And that's one of the reasons I'm really excited about today's show is we have a friend here that we've known for a while, but we got to meet last year in Las Vegas at Rare Evo, and just to watch the growth of the brand and the person and everything and their involvement with World Mobile over the past year. It's been very, very good to see. And so I'm really looking forward to this space.
Likewise, and very well put. So without any further ado, I'll maybe turn it over to Cal. I feel like you're a really great hype man and a great introducer. So the show is all yours.
Yeah, definitely. So today we're going to be joined by Brad, who's a team lead at Enso Node. He's also a World Mobile Ambassador. He's also a Earth Node operator and a future Hex Guardian, as well as a top 5 scanner on the Scan for Points app. So Brad's a true mobiler pushing forward, and I'm beyond excited to have him on today. So without further ado, Brad, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Today's been a hectic day, but a lot to discuss here in terms of World Mobile. Thank you for the intro there, Brad. And as we bring you up here, I'm going to sort of kick things off with the first couple of questions, warm us up here. And then I believe I'll turn it over to Cal, and then Rob will be the closer, as always, Preacher or Reverend Rob. So without any further ado, Brad, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself and how you first got introduced to crypto as well as World Mobile?
Yeah, it all started back in 2012 when I was doing a study abroad program in Peru for my biochemistry major. And I had a little bit of difficulty transferring money down to Peru because my bank did not want to believe that I was actually down there. And somebody that was locally told me about this thing called BitInca, and I started reading about it, and it was a local Peruvian crypto exchange where you could send Bitcoin there and you can convert it into soles, which is the local currency, and have that deposited into the local or to a friend's bank account. So that was my first introduction into Bitcoin, was just being able to get money to Peru when I was doing my study abroad program. And then when I came back from Peru, I was like, man, that was so easy. I really need to figure out what Bitcoin is. And then I learned that you could literally let your computer sit at home and mint money for you while you're out working or doing anything else you need to do. And I was like, well, this is kind of a no-brainer. And then I started mining on a GPU, and then those bought an ASIC. That bought 2 more ASICs. Then I had 6. Then I had 9. And then I had 27, to where I had miners in every room of my house because I was tripping breakers all over the place. I had extension cords running to every room. And my fiance was like, it's July, it's 90 degrees outside, and it's 110 degrees in the house. You have to change this. So I rented out a warehouse, and I moved all the miners, and I had a warehouse space. And then that grew into 200 miners, and I was renting space out to friends who were also mining. And then I was also, in the middle of that, I was still transferring money to Peru because I had begun a Peruvian alpaca clothing business where I was shipping or sending Bitcoin down there, and they were mailing me alpaca clothing, and I would vend at music festivals all up and down the East Coast. Was how I got my start using crypto. And then, in 2017, everything was booming. And then 2018, the markets tanked, and it became a situation where you had to scale exponentially in order to stay profitable. But since the market was in a downturn, it was nearly impossible to do that. So I ended up closing the warehouse down. I ran it until 2020. And then as I was closing it down, I learned about helium. A friend was telling me about it, and we ended up renting out an apartment in New York City because there was only like 3,000 hotspots on the market at the time, and there really wasn't a way to have the hotspots talking to each other. So then we ended up having 36 hotspots around New York, Philadelphia, Harrisburg, and Baltimore. In the middle of all that, Helium started going through several iterations and changing their protocol, and they were moving in a direction that I really didn't like. They were going to Solana. They were introducing other tokens, and it just kind of they had a really great vision, but the execution was poor. Now, I had been in Cardano since I watched Charles's whiteboard. Like that was my first introduction to it, and I had been a supporter of the network since 2017. And then when I saw World Mobile come into play, I was watching the videos, and I was like, man, this is really something else. It's on a whole nother level. And I invested into the World Mobile token, and then it just kind of sat on the back burner for a little while because I didn't know how to participate in the ecosystem because Earth nodes were a significant amount of money to invest into one of those. So that's kind of like my background into crypto, and that's how I got my start, and it kind of brings us up into kind of the current moment.
Brad, thank you for the introduction there. I appreciate that. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like you might actually be a Bitcoin whale, right, with the operations that you've run from such a long time ago. Now, when I'm looking at your name tag here, it says Enso Nodes.
We came up with the name when a friend or a teammate who has introduced several options to go with a logo for our branding. And the Enso stuck with me because it was similar to Ouroboros, which is what Cardano is based off of, and it's a Zen Buddhist symbol, and it's a single brushstroke, and in that single brushstroke, the person who is making that brushstroke is present in the moment. So it's not trying to make a perfect circle; it's about repeating that circle over and over again. So it's to be practiced over and over and over again, not striving for perfection or ever actually achieving it, but the action of making the circle is in of itself a perfect moment. And it can represent fullness or emptiness or infinity or nothingness or form or formless. But to me, it represents the action in a moment. So it's about being present in the moment that you're in, but also being the action that is taking place in the perfect moment. Because a lot of people, when they talk about being present in the moment, it's more about like being still and just being present in that moment. But I think that a perfect moment is more being in the moment, but also being in the action that is happening all around you. And then another friend that actually became a part of Enso Node at a later date coincidentally had an Enso tattooed on his inner wrist. So it was just kind of worked out that, I don't know, it was just kind of like a synchronicity that brought it about. And it just resonates with me.
I love it. Deep meaning behind Enso. Thank you for sharing that here with us. My third and final question to you, Brad, is about your role as an ambassador. So for anybody who isn't aware, you obviously, you've been very connected to the team. If I'm not mistaken, you were down there in North Carolina not too long ago. You actually joined us on a stream, which was amazing to see, right? Again, you sort of being a first responder at a critical time where people were unconnected or disconnected. That said, as an ambassador, how do you approach, representing the project and connecting others with the existing community?
Yeah, so just after we became EarthNode operators, the Web3 Cat made a post looking for ambassadors, and we scheduled a meeting, and I told him my background. It kind of felt like everything in my background was working towards World Mobile, and I kind of see myself as a bridge between World Mobile and the community, to deliver the message on what they're developing, because they're working 16 hours a day plus however many hours they're working, and they don't really have the opportunity to interface with the community to relay all the developments and everything that's happening. So I kind of see myself as a bridge to help be able to relay that vision with the community to show them what they're bringing to the table. So I was definitely a part of getting connecting the disconnected off the ground. I wasn't able to be down in North Carolina for the documentary because I was helping my mom with knee replacement surgery. But during the hurricane, Oceanic Goon and I were posting and sharing each other's posts back and forth. And Emmanuel Gratch reached out to me and was like, how can we as World Mobile help? And I was looking for locations in North Carolina. I had a hospital, I had a school, I had a couple locations to deploy air nodes, but I couldn't actually get down there. So I ended up connecting Emmanuel and Oceanic Goon so that way, because it's an emergency. I don't need to be there. We need to get first responders on the ground to actually deploy these air nodes so that way people can get connected and deploy resources. But I did go back down there a couple months later to visit friends and to see the air node deployments and just to see the destruction that happened in the area. And it was very devastating. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible there. And honestly, I remember when you jumped on our live one time with your friend and just seeing the in the background all the destruction that happened was just so saddening. And it's really good to see, World Mobile stepping up and you as an ambassador also stepping up and making that connection happen and really helping people in need, that had a dire need for connectivity in general. So Enso represents action, and being in the action, that kind of reminds me of EarthNodes themselves, as they are the center of everything. And you also mentioned that you're an EarthNode operator as well. So maybe tell us a little bit what it's inspired to become one.
I'm not a developer, so I was drawn to the idea of deploying infrastructure. Because of my background, it seemed as if everything that I was working on was leading me up to this point. Being a part of and interacting with the community daily, like I was with my vending business and at music festivals, managing a warehouse full of infrastructure, deploying helium hotspots, being a part of World Mobile and an EarthNode operator just seemed like a culmination of what my focus was for the last decade plus. So my friends and I decided to become a team and form Enso Node and buy an EarthNode operator. And while we were discussing this new thing that I was working on with various friends and family, they were all like, hey, if you ever have opportunity to invest into a node, let us know. And I was like, well, we really only have so much space on the node and we can't really expand that. Then one day, I think it was an World Mobile Alliance space in October, Rob actually was breaking down all of the potential of what the Earth nodes could do. And I had a light bulb moment, and it was about fractionalizing the ownership of Earth nodes to give opportunity to those around me. So we my team and I own about 2.5 Earth nodes between us, and the rest we had taken investment from friends and family to purchase the other Earth nodes, similar to what like Nivola or House of Titans are doing with profit sharing from their nodes. But we're focused mostly on our local community rather than trying to bring in revenue from the world like everybody else is. We did roll around the idea of an Enso token, but with the regulatory uncertainty, we decided to shelve that for now. We might revisit it in the future. But being an EarthNode operator has been a great experience. The EarthNode community and World Mobile community has welcomed me with open arms. It's motivated me to further my knowledge. I took a course on Linux. I've been studying all these different hardwares, learning how to upgrade hardware in the middle of while everything is in operation. It's definitely been an additional learning curve, and I've really enjoyed being an EarthNode operator.
I love it. I love it. That was a great answer. So how many people are in your Enso node team right now?
We have 6 team members. There are 6 core team members, and we have about 14 or 15 people that have invested into nodes and have fractionalized ownership.
That is a huge group, and that's amazing that you brought all these people into the sharing economy. Congratulations. That's pretty awesome to see. I love more people being involved like that. Yeah, so every Saturday I see you very, very active on X, and wherever you're taking these photos, it kind of makes me want to be there. And I know you're a top scanner, and I want to ask you, how has that helped you understand the network, and what have you learned so far from scanning the network?
Yeah, so Scan for Points has opened my eyes to how disconnected some areas are. Like I drive through these areas all the time, but now that I'm scanning, it's like now I'm paying attention to the signal that's coming through. Um, I I did a road trip cross country, and I think I only had service like 60 or 70% of the time. Uh, I just assumed it was always going to be like that in rural areas. I never thought there was going to be a solution for me to be able to help provide coverage to those areas that are all dead zones. Now, I can't actually see what I'm scanning yet until the next app iteration is released and we can see all the data that we've been collecting. But I was I had a couple of jobs doing that were driving, and I would be in very rural communities where people had no service at all, and there were kids that needed to do online schooling uh, and work from home, and it really showed me how critical it was to have connectivity in one continuous network around the world. I feel like Scan for Points is a big deal, and I'm honestly scanning all the time. I try to find alternate routes when I'm driving home. That's how I'll add 5-10 minutes to a trip just to take an alternate route. Or last year I was coming home from my mom's house and I added 2.5 hours to my trip just so I could drive an alternate route, and that pushed me up into second place. And however, the reason I am scanning all of these trails that I'm out and doing is because they're very rural, and I could be driving for an hour where there's no coverage, or when I'm out mountain biking, these trails are a little dangerous, and the app allows me. I have an app that allows me to send a beacon of where I'm at when I'm riding trails. So like if my fiance checks in like an hour and sees that I'm still moving, she knows that everything is all right. But with all these dead zones, I can't really send that beacon out everywhere. And there are dozens of riders out there all the time. And if there's an emergency, it could be a 10-mile plus trip back to the trailhead just to get back to my car to get anywhere else. So I feel like scanning all of these national or state parks and trails are going to help somebody else that might have a dire situation at some point down these trails.
One of the more important aspects of World Mobile is how they're going to scale, right? And we know that World Mobile has an absolute rock star team that can do it all, but um, that's not the point of World Mobile, right? They cannot do everything themselves, and the point is for the community themselves to be able to grow the network ourselves. So we heard that you're planning on becoming a Hex Guardian, and I wanted to find out what excites you most about this opportunity.
Yeah, so I'm definitely ready to be a Hex Guardian. You know, I didn't really touch on this very much, but I have a background. I was doing Viasat satellite internet installation for a while, and then I was on to Dish Network and HughesNet and T-Mobile, and now I'm actually doing Starlink installations. And because of my background, I feel like uh, it's all been leading me up to this moment. Um, I've been in conversation with the affiliate program so that way I could start bringing on subscribers. You know, we've already been scanning the greater Eastern Pennsylvania area, and the company that I worked for, um, they were the vendor for all of these different companies. So once I shift gears and become a Hex Guardian, then I have a company that has installers that I can have already go out and start doing installs for me. So I've been reaching out to local ISPs for AirNode backhaul. One of my teammates his profession is marketing, and we just need to kind of get the ball rolling so he can leave and come full-time Enso, and we can start really diving into marketing and getting everybody out there. But you know, as I was talking about before, the driving job that I had was doing these satellite installations all over the place. And you know, when you're in a rural community and there's a kid that has to, you know, go down to the local library just to do their homework every night, and to see their face light up when they have internet and they can do their homework from home, which gives them more time to play games also on the internet. And like, I don't know, I just feel very positioned well to move the mission forward and to really help provide coverage to these communities. I live in the Appalachian Mountains, so there's a lot of mountain region where there's so many dead zones driving through, and that just kind of seems to be the going theme of like finding those dead zones and being able to help those people that are struggling to have connectivity.
So, Brad, we've seen you make some posts lately about doing some local area community meetups.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious what those look like, but maybe even before that, what inspired you to do that? What made you want to get out and get people in your community, local area, excited about World Mobile?
So I've always been the crypto guy in my community, in my area. Many people turn to me whenever they have questions, and like I've been in it since 2012, and I've seen it. I've seen it all. You know, the fall of MT Gox, and I grow with the industry and work through all the different interfaces with wallets, and just like you and just like you guys, and I'm sure most of the listeners, I feel like I have advanced knowledge when it comes to interacting with blockchains and different projects that are all building real world use cases. I've taught kids as young as 12 years old that have no concept of what money is, all the way up to 70-year-old men who have never copy and pasted before. At music festivals, I would host informational workshops where I would, you know, have an hour where I would just talk to people and like try to bring awareness to the blockchain space. And my fiance has been on me for years to start a local meetup and start trying to share my knowledge with everybody locally. Um, it didn't feel like the right time or place back then, but now because I'm part of World Mobile and I'm becoming a Hex Guardian, and I just feel like I'm in a better place in my life to do so. Uh, I, I just wanted to start building a network locally of people that I can bring in when it comes to Hex Guardians, people that I can, talk to, and like we could all kind of grow the network and the grow the World Mobile locally together. And it's been a mix of people, curious people from all walks of life. We get about 20 people have been coming to the classes, which is for the venue that we're using. That's about the max capacity. So we're actually looking at other venues closer to where I live to begin hosting. However, it's been well received. I have people coming up to me after the class thanking me for explaining crypto and blockchain in a way that they can understand, explaining it in a way that is different than number go up, number go down. And so it's been great. And I just want to give a shout out to Arnold for letting us use his restaurant, Arnold's Way. Yeah, it's been a very positive experience overall.
So you mentioned earlier that Team Enso consists of members that are helping push forward that mission, but also you have investors that you've been able to say, hey, we will fragment this and help grow your investment through what we're trying to do. Have you been able to either through these meetups get people to want to jump into World Mobile directly, or have you been able to get people to jump onto Team Enso because of these meetups?
I haven't been advertising to become a part of Team Enso at this time. We've only done 2 meetups so far. I'm in the process of moving, so we postponed the next meetup until late August. I haven't opened that up yet. Mostly it's been about, we have to start from the beginning with a lot of people. So we start with Bitcoin and work our way up. But there are people that are like, as soon as cell phone plans are ready, please let us know. We want our privacy back. We want to own part of the network. There are many reasons why people want to become a part of World Mobile. And a lot of people are like, when can I put an air node on my roof? So people are definitely interested and want to help move this forward. We're just kind of waiting on the day for where we can start doing that.
So you're definitely seeing some mobilers in the making because of
Oh
these
yeah.
meetups.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
very much so.
that's probably the goal. That's probably what you
Yeah,
want out of doing it, hosting World Mobile meetups to get them.
exactly.
It needs to be I found it needs to be something that builds. If people want to jump in too fast, they'll also want to jump out real quick as well. So
Yeah,
you get that slow burn that really gets them to want to become more part of it. So I love that. That's amazing. You're doing a great job.
thank
Uh,
you.
I'm very, very impressed, and I'm inspired because I like the meetups. I like doing things in person, and that's something that I haven't done myself in my local area. So seeing that you're getting out there doing that, it's inspiring to me. So I wanted to thank you for that.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
Absolutely, yeah. One final question for you here. Uh, you're involved in a lot of facets of World Mobile. You've seen a lot of different angles of crypto, from getting invested in Bitcoin just for transferring purposes, moving money around, to mining it. You've gone through all these different phases, and now you've landed here at World Mobile, where the sharing economy and building out networks, which everything seems to fall into place for basically the trajectory of your life, if you want to put it in kind of really blanket terms like that.
Yeah.
So seeing all of that, seeing how it seems like in some ways your life has built to this point where there's a commonality of purpose and a similar trajectory for what you're doing, what World Mobile is doing. What has you most excited about the future of World Mobile?
Oh
Like,
man.
where do you see yourself contributing as it grows? What do you where do you think World Mobile is going to go? And just again, what excites you about that?
Oh man, I'm excited for so many things, World Mobile. I think right now I'm most excited for the Earth Node software coming up. Once it's out, I'll be excited for the phone plans coming up. Then I'll be excited for Hex Guardians. There's honestly so much to look forward to, and I'll be excited every step of the way and trying to stay up to date and be in every channel, listening to all the news that comes on. Um, I I look forward to being able to look back at these days of fondness when we're building, when it's early, when the community's small, and we're all we have such a close connection with each other in the community. And I look forward to reflecting back on the day and just talking about what it was like when we were building it, and then turning around and looking and seeing it everywhere. It'd be like, yeah, there's a World Mobile aerostat right up there. There's a line of World Mobile low Earth orbit satellites going by. Or like, I'm just so excited for it. I'm also very excited for Rare Evo, like to meet more mobilers, to reconnect with you guys, and I don't know. I just look forward to so much of this community. I was looking forward to this call. I really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to come on here and tell my story and tell a little bit of the history of Enso Node. And I don't know. It's just been incredible, and I really appreciate it.
Well, I want to kind of make an observation, and it's something that I feel there's an alignment for. You've talked about the alignment that you've had as you've grown, got involved in cryptocurrencies, finding a commonality of purpose with World Mobile, the synergy of where you can take your skills and merge it with what World Mobile's doing. And I was really struck by what you talked about with Enso, and talking about not having the circle be perfect, but having that perfect moment and being present for it.
Yeah.
And one thing that we've discussed offline is you're a Star Trek fan, you're a Trekkie, and clearly I am as well. That's my brand name, right?
Yeah.
And so we definitely have that similarity, that thing that brings us together as well. But as you're talking about it, I went back to something that really struck me, and it was the final tweet that Leonard Nimoy, who played Spock, he made it before he died. And life is a garden. Perfect moments can be had, but not preserved, except in memory. You talked about being present in that moment, but doing it over and over and over again. And I feel like that exemplifies who you are, what you're trying to build, and how you're trying to be there for it. And as we grow World Mobile, like I said, it's not all going to be perfect. Things are going to be offline. Things are going to be out of place at times. But being there, doing it with the community, being a part of it,
Yeah.
it seems to work. And that's how we've come together as part of this community of World Mobile. And that's your brand, and that's your personality, and that's your vision. But again, it fits in a way that we all come together, and it's perfect when we're there doing it together. Just
Agreed.
like at Rare Evo when we met last year, just like at these meetups in person, just like the brand name, and how you and your friends have gotten together to build this thing out. And so what I'm looking forward to the most to hear from you is the progress reports, everything that happens where you're able to discuss, hey, it wasn't a perfect deployment, it wasn't a perfect rollout, but what happened was perfect because we were there together. We did it. We learned from it. We moved forward, and we're furthering the cause of World Mobile while bettering ourselves and bettering those around us. So I'm really excited about how all this has come together for you so far, and I'm really excited to see where this goes with you, because I think it all fits together so well.
Thank you so much. That was very well said.
And on that note, I believe that will bring us to the end of today's interview, breaking down and introducing Brad, one of the key members and the founder of Enso Notes here to the mobile community. It's been a pleasure, Brad. I don't think that we've had the opportunity personally to chat, but I've been able to learn a little bit about you as well, and just be able to sit back and listen, right? Just to see how all this really came together and how Rob just tied it even more so with
Yeah.
that final quote there by someone from Star Trek, which you both have in common, right? So like, I am not one to think that anything happens by coincidence, and I don't think that you're here by coincidence, and that the impact that you've made is by coincidence. So thank you for your contributions, your time, and I think I speak on the behalf of all three of us here from the World Mobile Alliance in saying we are happy and we are grateful to have you here to be able to share your story. Again, thank you for making the time. That will do it here. As always, Rob, thank you. Cal, thank you as well. This will be us here signing out episode 3 of Meet the Mobilers, introducing you, the mobile community, to Brad, aka Enso Notes. That said, if you guys have enjoyed today's content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. If you want more, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you have any questions about World Mobile, Enso Notes, or just anything else going on in the ecosystem, feel free to leave a comment down below. That said, and as always, we'll see you all in the next one. Cheers, everybody. Take care.